Hey, welcome back to the NC State Insider Podcast. I'm your host and lead beat writer, Tucker Sennett, joining you here this morning to discuss some NC State football. Big NC State game coming up this Friday. Massive game with bowl eligibility still on the line for the Wolfpack. They'll welcome in Florida State, another team trying to get that sixth win to get to a bowl game. They'll welcome them to Carter Finley Stadium at night. Big military appreciation game. Already written about that, and that's kind of meaningfulness to Dave Doran. And this team's in a little bit of a tailspin right now for a lot of reasons, coming off that loss to Miami, and the news on the injury front isn't great. That's what I'm going to talk about today. This is kind of your early breakdown of the injuries for NC State. The initial availability report came out and is not super promising for the Wolfpack. Some key names already ruled out. They might be getting a couple key figures back, so that might be helpful, but um, overall, not a super promising outlook for this NC State team. So let's just dive into it. In terms of guys who are for sure not going to be available in this game, Sean Brown remains out. It's looking more and more likely like he's going to be out for the season. Um, in terms of new guys on that list, Kamen Smith, who came in the Miami game in relief for some pieces who went in and out with injury. He's going to be out of this one, so they will not have Kamen Smith. That's a big depth piece on the offensive line that you're not going to have. You're not going to have Jamel Johnson at corner. That's a pretty massive loss at that position. It's going to probably require some younger players to step up. There's not a lot of depth left at that corner position. Um, Javon Bailey could be an option there. Brian Nelson the second is going to get a lot more playing time. Um, and they're probably going to have to move one of those nickels over to a primary corner position. I don't know if that'll be Jackson Vick, but that's not going to be a promising development against a team that has pretty deep wide receiver options. They obviously have Deuce Robinson, but they have some other guys who can kind of make you pay. So losing Jamel Johnson, who's been a really solid corner overall, is not a great development for this NC State team. You won't have Charlie Birtwistle, your starting kickoff guy. Didn't have him last week either, but that's just something you have to overcome. Now moving to the questionable category, things get a little bit interesting. Um, AJ Richardson, who's been out for several weeks now at the linebacker position, could be making his return, and that would be some huge depth help for that group. You've been rolling with Caden Fordham, Kenny Soares, and the two Jack linebackers and Kean Sloan and Trey Thomas, but getting Richardson as sort of that rotational piece that can fill in for Soares' old spot at the Sam that kind of comes in and out in different packages. That could be really, really important for this defense against a team that really likes to run the ball. So they're hoping that he can go. That would be a major development. A big loss who's on the questionable category. T. Anderson at the right tackle position. And the reason that's a big loss is because, you already have Kamen Smith out in this game. So you're already down some depth there, and Anderson's your starter. Um, Now he is questionable, so he could go, but he did leave the Miami game with injury. So you're looking at a potential two key figures on the offensive line being out in this one. And I know Smith's not a starter and hasn't been perfect this year, but you're digging even deeper into your depth if you don't have either of those guys. and that could be highly problematic for this NC State team. One of the backup tight ends, Griffin Raymer, who's more of a special teams guy, hasn't gotten a lot of burn this year. He is also listed as questionable. That's kind of your injury report, everything that's important for this one. As for Florida State, they're the only major name for them that's on the questionable list is running back Samuel Singleton Jr. He's really come on as kind of their starting back as they figure out that backfield rotation between him and Gavin Sawchuk, and they're trying to kind of do it by committee there, and he's come on as sort of the stronger option over the past few weeks. So losing him for Florida State would obviously be a concern. Overall, I think NC State's, hopes kind of hinge on the health of that offensive line, and I'll certainly break that down in our game day preview later. But not a super promising initial report on from the ACC with this availability report. Obviously, things can change, especially with the questionable category. If Anderson and Richardson could go, that would be a very helpful development for this NC State team. But we'll have to wait and see for Friday night. As always, really appreciate you all tuning in. Um, it obviously means a lot when you all go and click into my articles and read our content over at NC State on SI. So if you want more of that, go ahead and follow me on X at Senate Tucker. You can follow the website's X account at Wolfpack on SI and get all those stories every day. You can also go ahead and get daily episodes of the NC State Insider podcast on the Sports Videos on SI YouTube channel. As always, thanks a lot for tuning in.